Ya Ali, Ya Ali, 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 Ya Ali.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wa bihi nasta'een. Wa salatu wa salamu ala ashrafil anbiya'i wal mursaleen. Habibi qulubina wa tabibi nufusina rahmatan lil alameen Abil Qasim Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Wa salatu wa salamu ala ahli baytihi at-tayyibin at-tahirin al-ma'sumin al-madlumin. Wa la'natullahi ala a'da'ihim ajma'in. Allahumma kulli waliyyika al-hujjat ibn al-Hassan salawatuka alayhi wa ala aba'ihi في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. أما بعد, السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. All praise and glory belongs to Allah, the creator of this universe, the creator of you and I, the one who has blessed us with every single thing for us to be able to acquire the knowledge and the deep understanding of Him. Because if a person acquires knowledge and deep understanding of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that person is guaranteed success in this world and also in the hereafter. The success that is meant by this world and the hereafter might be different than you and I think of success. For us, success might be that if we become the most famous person in this world. It might be that we become the richest person in this world. It might be that we become the most loved individual on this earth. But success in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is determined by the understanding of Him, through which the emotions dictate the actions that are required for the submission to His will. And if that process the person acquires the wealth of this world, then it is a success. But that if the person acquires fame in this world, it is a success. By that if the person is the most loved one in this world, then it is success. If you look at Imam Hassan salam, he is a personality that is loved by not just 200 or 300 million individuals, but he's loved by at least 2 billion people. All the Muslims, if they say they do not love Imam Hassan salam, that means they do not love the Holy Prophet. And if they do not love the Holy Prophet, then they have their whole religion in jeopardy. Then the Quran becomes in jeopardy. Then their actions as far as submission to His will, which is the rules and the regulations and the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they become in jeopardy. If you take the 2 billion people out of the picture even and talk about the 4 billion people, they also love Imam Hassan salam, they just don't know it. And the reason why they do not know him is perhaps our own fault. It is our own fault that we have ourselves not understood Imam Hassan salam, and we have maybe failed to make humanity understand who Imam Hassan salam is. Because I guarantee to you that if you were to tell Imam Hassan salam to all of humanity, there will not remain even one person who will not love Imam Hassan salam. Because inside of humanity there is that inclination that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed, that is His inclination. Every human being loves someone who is fair. Every human being loves someone who is just. Every human being loves that person who puts himself as second and puts others as first. Every human being loves somebody who sacrifices for a cause, for principle. Every human being loves someone who is brave. If you were to look at the qualities of Imam Hassan salam and even if you were not to mention his name, just say that there was a person who has such and such qualities, every single human being will say that I love that person. If you were to ask them what sort of leader your leader should be, guess what they will say? Whatever all of the 7 billion people are going to say in that survey, all of those qualities are present in Imam Hussain. Everybody wants a leader that has the most amount of knowledge. Everybody wants that leader that is the most patient, the most caring, the most compassionate, the most passionate. Right? Every single human being is looking for that leader that Imam Hussain has all of those characteristics in his character. Not just him, but his friends and followers and family members, they all had it. So what we have to try to understand is that if we do not comprehend Imam Hussain our own selves, then we will not be able to explain Imam Hussain to others. What it would be based on is that when my father said that he's such and such, my mother said he's such and such. But our own selves, we have to be responsible to do the research which is necessary to be able to know Imam Hussain so that we can understand his sacrifice, and in turn we can understand what tawheed that he saved. Okay. So the topic in itself will continue in the next 10 or 11 days that we are with you, but I just want to make a little bit of preliminary so that we can understand this concept a little bit better. Okay? So you have, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you tools, as I started in the beginning. He has given you tools by which you are able to understand Him and have a deep understanding of Him. Right? What sort of tools do you think He has given to you? Okay? He's given you some tools. What sort of tools has He given to you? Are your eyes a tool? Yes or no? It's like your camera, right? You have your phone. The phone is compromised of what? And we'll talk about phones. That way probably, if anybody was on their phone, they'll be looking at it and they will understand this even better. So if you look at the camera, it has that lens that takes the pictures, takes the videos, right? That tool, which is the lens that takes the videos and pictures, are your eyes. Right? Right now you're taking pictures, but you're having a video or you're taking pictures, but the pictures that you're taking are taken so fast that it kind of seems like a video. Right? And once these pictures are there, then the phone, what does it do? It processes it. Right? So you have the Android has what? Snapdragon something, right? It has that chip in there that is a processor. It's 4 quads, 2.4 gigahertz. Right or no? Guess what that is? What is that? If you were to take it and try to compare it to your own selves, what will be the processor in you? Your brain. Right? Your brain is also a tool. And the way it processes the information, that is the best computer in the whole universe. Right? Your brain is the best computer in the whole universe. I think I might have mentioned this to you last time I was here, that they were able to duplicate the brain activity that you go through in 1 second. The best of all of the computers out there with the best chip in there was able to duplicate that in 2 hours. But your brain can process it in 1 second. That computer was able to process it in what? 2 hours. And your regular PC would process it in 24 hours. Right? With me? So you have your eyes as the tool, like your phone has your camera. Then you have that CPU, which is your brain, which is the processor. And that processor is the fastest processor that anyone can create. Okay. What about your ears? On your phone there is a What do you have in the phone as ears? See? Right. So the voice, when you are talking, it goes through that, and again the CPU processes it, and the other transfers to the other person. True or not? And you also have a speaker, right? So what is the mic? Is your Jay? Is it too? Are you with me? Yes. So you can all participate. It's okay, right? So what is that? Is your ears. Then there is a speaker, there is a device by which you can also, it can also talk. What is that you have by which you can talk? Right? Your tongue. Are these two easy questions? You see, when you look at your own self, you don't look at yourself as a combination of tools. Somebody has to remind you that these eyes that you have is nothing more but just a tool. On these eyes that you are so arrogant about, that I have such beautiful eyes that nobody else has, it's just like a person who says, I have the best phone out there. As youths, you become so engrossed in your own looks, in the tools that have been given, that you forget that this is not who you are, that these are just tools. You get attached to that so much that you forget about who you are. Just like you are attached to the phone so much that you forget your parents. You forget your own self. If you were to leave the cell phone in the house, how many people return and go back? Yeah? Most of us. If you forget your wallet, you're like, I'm okay. Wallet is okay. I'll borrow some money from somebody, or I'll use, it's okay, it's fine. If the police officer stops me, I'll just tell him I forgot my wallet and my license is there. The phone, you drive maybe 5 miles, 10 miles, and you're going to come back and get it. What is this? This shows you attachment. This shows you that this phone has become part of you in a way that if you do not have it, you feel incomplete. It shows you that you are so dependent on it, that if this tool is not with you, you feel as if you are, it is something wrong. And this body of yours is nothing but just tools, by which we are so engrossed that some people, they will go to a special barber to have their hair cut. Yes? I don't know how much money you guys spend. I don't know. In Canada, it's about $20 that the barber charges. It's about 10 pounds yours. Okay. To cover this body, which is tools, you go through so much effort to buy the clothes. Right? Some people's clothes on their body, if you were to calculate each, right, the shirt, the sweater, the hoodie, the jacket, the shoes, and so forth, you can easily come up with 150, 200 pounds. Right? It's like having a 200-pound cover for your phone. Right? How many people spend quite a bit? I was looking at some of the prices that you guys have, 40 pounds, 50 pounds for just a cover. And people buy it. As people buy thousands of dollars or hundreds of pounds worth of stuff to hide their body, which is no better than just a tool. So if you and I look at ourselves as these tools being us, we will never see them the actual truth of what they are. Okay? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you all of this as tools to do what? So that you can become a good IT professional, so you can become a good lawyer, so you can become a good doctor. Is that why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave you the tools? Is that why He gave you the eyes, so that you can look at, Netflix 4 to 6 hours a day? He gave you these tools so that you can be on your phone for most of the day. And don't think that I'm saying something to make you feel bad, because most of us, if not everybody, most of us, we are this way. Right? How many times do you utilize this tool to actually understand and have a deep understanding of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? How much? Even when somebody is talking to you about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, somebody will be too engrossed in their own phone to look at it instead of listening to what the person is saying. You have seen that. Alhamdulillah, we don't have anybody who's doing that right now. But you've seen it, that Maulana is there talking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala while the person is on the phone texting or looking at text or emails or their status on Facebook, how many people have put their likes. Think about it, at the end of the day, how much time did you spend for these eyes to be able to look at the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to get the deep understanding of Him? We ignore those signs. The sky is a sign of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We look at it, right? We don't stop and think, what is this? There was a woman who came to Agha Bahjat, Ayatullah Bahjat, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy and bless him with the highest status possible in heaven. The person came to him and she said that I have this illness of depression and I want you to help me with that. So Agha Bahjat said that, about a couple of hours before Fajr, just go outside and look at the sky. He said, if you wish to pray, if you wish to do some dua, you can. But just go outside an hour or two before Fajr and just look at the sky, that's all. And when that person did that, they were cured of that depression. Just by looking at the sky. So during your day, take a moment. When you feel a little bit arrogant, look at the sky. And you will see yourself to be this small. At night, when you feel that you are somebody, look at the stars. These humongous objects that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created are looking just like little dots. And you, if somebody is looking up at you, would they even look at you, even see you? When you look at water, think about it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given this source of life to you so you can purify yourself and have that as part of your life. Right? These tools that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to you are there for you to be able to have deep understanding of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. At the end of the night, try to think about how much time you spend using these tools to acquire the knowledge and deep understanding of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Done? This point? Okay. We move on to the next. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you a heart. He's given you a heart. He's given you a mind. We'll not use the word brain now. He's given you a mind. And He has also given you the tools to perform the actions. So how many? 3 things. So you have heart, you have mind, and you have actions. Your actions are performed by the body that you have. Your heart exists in a place that you cannot see. Your heart exists in a place where you cannot see. Your heart is not, we're not talking about the pump that pumps the blood in your body. That's still part of the tools of your body. Okay? We're talking about heart, which is a place where you cannot see. Where do you feel pain? Where do you feel pain? Where do you feel love? Where do you feel hate? Where do you have all of these emotions? Can somebody see? Can somebody open up you, and try to find inside your body? Where is this love? Where is this hate? Is it anywhere in your body? No. It's in a place which you cannot see. But do they exist? Do the emotions exist? You cannot see, but do they exist? They do. Right? If somebody was to say, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I cannot see, so therefore, right? I cannot see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so therefore He does not exist. If somebody was to say that, you would say, well, okay, show me pain. Show me pain, and they will tell you, well, I cannot show you. So if you say, you cannot show me, but do you know that it exists? They'll say, yes. So, love. If somebody says, I love you, tell them to show you love. Where does it exist in the body? So it doesn't, you cannot see it, but does it exist? Yes, it does. Hate. The same thing. They will tell you that I cannot see it, but I can see the effects of it. Because I can see the effects of it, I know it's there, although I cannot see. So it's just like that. When somebody loves somebody, there's effects of that love which can be seen, but love in itself cannot be seen. True or not? So emotions are void of pictures. Alright? But in your mind is nothing but pictures. A is for Hassan. I think the sister's distracting you. Are the sisters distracting you? It's okay. Right? It's not a problem. Yeah? A is for, are you thinking that we're back in kindergarten? I know. It's okay. Let's start from kindergarten and move up. Our problem has been with religion is that we are talking about university course or university syllabus while we haven't finished kindergarten yet. That's one of our biggest problems. We don't take the steps to actually get to that. While in our secular education, we take all of the steps. Nobody gets the admission in the university if they have not finished their high school or their junior high, whatever you call it, elementary school. Does anybody get admission into the university? No. Karbala is a university. Karbala is not an elementary school. Karbala is not a kindergarten where anyone can come in and say that I'm going to understand what Karbala is. We who haven't even finished kindergarten try to understand Karbala that is as deep, if nothing more than any of the sciences that human beings have developed. And that is the reason why we haven't been able to understand. That is the reason why our disunity is based on the azah of Imam Hussain ﷺ, that we divide ourselves in the name of Imam Hussain where we should be united. We divide ourselves on the basis that this person does matam and this person doesn't, so therefore he's not my brother. We divide ourselves that this person is more of a lover of Imam Hussain than me. Or I am more of a lover of Imam Hussain than he is. We divide ourselves on the concept of azah, of Karbala, of the sacrifice of Imam Hussain, when the purpose of that tool, purpose of that means is for us to be united. Not just as Shias, all of Muslims. If they were to understand Karbala, we will not have any divisions among ourselves. We don't want to do kindergarten, but we are very happy to take a lesson in a class of university which we are not even capable of understanding. A is for G. A is for what? 1. A is for, say something. What do you remember from your kindergarten? A is for apple. Namaz is wajib. Thank you. A is for apple. You were able to say that. That's kindergarten. Just that namaz is wajib is also part of kindergarten. If somebody is still having issues about whether namaz is wajib or not, they have not graduated from kindergarten yet. the simplest of the answers, the simplest of the questions, if you were to ask a 6-year-old child, will tell you the namaz is wajib. Yet we have elders, we have people in their last days where they are here in grave. A is for apple. Lying is haram. Lying is forbidden. Backbiting is haram. B is for basketball. What do? We have made a profession of lying. We've made our day-to-day routine based on gossip. We do not find pleasure unless and until there is gossip. And you know, this has to do with part of the culture that you live in. Part of this culture is gossip. If you go all around the world, the most people who enjoy gossip live where? And this is part of culture. And if you live here and you become part of the culture, guess what you're going to do? Gossip. Where do you else find the most amount of gossip? It's in those countries that they were ruled by this culture. In those countries as well, you will find the most amount of gossip. What's going on with this neighbor? What is going with that neighbor? They even have shows about that too, right? Tell me one of those shows that they have, like shows in England that talk about all the neighbors. What's that show? It got really famous too. You guys don't see that, okay? So we know either the fact is that either we say that we don't know that gossip is haram. Either we say that lying, we know that it is not haram. What about just another simple fact for our sisters now, since they are now listening? Okay. C is for cat. Hijab is wajib. It's just as simple. The Islamic dress is wajib on a woman. And it's not just scarf. That you wear a scarf and the rest, you do all of the fashion that is there, and then you're a muhajjiba. You have hijab. So it's not just scarf. It is the whole dress. From top to bottom, it has to be in a certain way that your figure is hidden in a way that nobody can look and say that this is the figure that you have. If any of your dresses are such that somebody can look and say, this person's figure is such and such, it's not hijab, even if they have got a scarf on. Simple stuff. We're not doing that, and we want to talk about concepts like sacrifice. And who sacrificed? The greatest of all sacrifices of Imam Hussain and Satus. The greatest of all sacrifices. We want to talk about that. How can a person who's not willing to sacrifice on their dress understand the concept of sacrifice of Imam Hussain? How? How is a person who's not willing to do an obligation as a man to have the beard on their face understand the concept of sacrifice of Imam Hussain? How is it possible? When you're not even able to sacrifice such a small thing for the sake of Allah, how are we going to sacrifice the sacrifice? He gave everything for the sake of Allah. How? A person who cannot take out 17 minutes of their time during the day wants to understand the greatest of sacrifices. Who read namaz while the rain of arrows were being done. That when his friends stood to take arrows on their shoulders. When we have our namaz, we have our brothers outside. When Imam Hussain was reciting Zohrain and we say that, oh, wish we were there as your friends, where would we been? हम कहाँ पे होते? और जोहर के वक्त हम कहाँ पे होते? अगर हम आज जोहर मस्जिद के अंदर नहीं पढ़ सकते, बाहर हम खड़े रहते, हम उस दिन भी वहीं होते. If you cannot recite namaz when the namaz is being recited here, we would have been on the other side. We would not have taken arrows on our shoulders, on our chests. If we don't understand that, the 17 minutes we can sacrifice for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's submission, how are we going to understand the sacrifice of Imam Hussain? What we have understood sacrifice as is just for me to wear the black dress, to come to the masjid, to listen to a Maulana, to do matam, and that too, we're not willing to give all of our attention. We're still talking about what kind of dress she's wearing, what kind of hijab she's wearing, what did you cook today, what is the weather outside, what are you going to do tomorrow? We're still talking about those things. How are we going to understand the sacrifice of Imam Hussain? And this has become our issue. We who talk about sacrifice of Imam Hussain, when they look at us, in our own character, we don't have sacrifice for each other. Nobody is willing to let go of their ego for the sake of the other person's health and their safety and their honor. We still keep our egos. Someone who has kept an ego, how can they understand a person who was egoless, who had no ego, who only submitted to the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that was it? How can they understand how Imam Sajjad ﷺ was able to see the daughters of the prophets? The daughter of the Prophet, the daughters of the Prophet, their hijab being taken off. Their veils been taken off. How can you understand how Imam Sajjad ﷺ felt when Bibi Sakina was being slapped? We have to, my brothers and my sisters, we have to take those steps. We have to go through our kindergarten, we have to go through our grade 1, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, to all the way where we are able to get to that university which is called Karbala. So we can understand it. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses us, we'll try our very best to take you through those steps. But I need you to be with me so that we can take those steps in 10 days. I'm not expecting, and I don't think anybody should expect, that you will graduate from kindergarten all the way to high school or college and that you'll be in university. But at least we should become aware of this fact. Okay? We should become aware of this fact that we have to take those steps. Okay? So, in your mind, all there is just pictures. Okay? A is for apple, B is for book, C is for cat. When you learn language, it's just pictures. Okay? When you look at a page, when you're reading it, are you not able to take the picture of the whole page instead of looking at each word? Yes or no? Like right now, I have my peripheral vision, I can see this much. Can I not take a picture? I'm seeing everybody, right? Can I not take a picture of one page that is this big in one instant? I can. And people are able to do that when they train their mind. Okay? So as far as your mind is concerned, it's all pictures. Can you picture Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Jay? Can you picture Him? You cannot. Right? So can the mind actually have a picture of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? No. So where they say that, okay, if I was to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then I will believe in Him. Well, your mind does not have the capacity to have a picture of nothing. Can your mind have a picture of nothing? No. What about limit? Can your mind have a picture of limit? maybe. What about limitless? Can your mind have a picture? No. Limitless, nothing are only concepts that we understand because we understand thing and we understand no. We just put the two together and we say, okay, we understand. Right? Or limit, we understand, and when we say limitless, we say, okay, I understand. Right? So as far as your mind is concerned, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's picture is never going to come. The ones who say that we have to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they will never be able to see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in their mind. Because there is no picture of Him. And if the picture comes, then that is not God. Right? This has been the problem of people, that they said, okay, we need to see someone that we are worshipping, so therefore we will make the idols. Right? So they say, we understand that this is not, the real thing, but we just want to have a perception of that, so we will make that idol and we will worship it. Right? About a few years ago, when there's a place in Toronto, it's called Gerrard Street, and there's all these restaurants and shops of our own people, as you have it here, right, in Bury Park, something. It's like that. So I was with my kids there, and outside they had like a stall where they had these idols that Hindus, they worship. So my son thought it was a toy. He was not that old, so he grabbed it like it was a figure or something, and he started playing with it. And I said to my son, I said, son, put this back. Yeah, don't break it, because this is someone's God. Right? And him being at a very young age, he said, Abu, how can this be someone's God? If I can break it, if this God cannot save himself from me, right? If this God is dependent for somebody to make it, right? How can this be God? Right? So as a child, he was able to put 2 plus 2 together in his mind to be able to come to something which you cannot have a picture. You cannot have a God that is dependent. You cannot have a God that requires protection. Okay? But a lot of people have these visuals. They have these idols they make because they want to have a picture of their God in their mind. Somebody asked Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam, and he said that you can recite a salawat if you like. See, you get so hypnotized and so attentive to me that you even forget about salawat. Okay? I have to remind you. Somebody asked Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam that, have you seen the God that you worship? And Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam replied, how can I worship a God that cannot see? How can I worship a God that I cannot see? Right? One angle of that is that Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam is telling that person that in order for somebody to be able to worship their Creator, one of the requirements is that they should be able to see. But seeing not from these eyes. So whatever these eyes can see will become a picture in your mind. Right? And we said that if the picture of God comes, then that is not God. It's something that you created. So what your eyes does is that even things that do not exist in this world, but you have a picture. You have a picture, for example, what can I say, you guys have seen movies all along, so you have a picture of Hulk, yes or no? Avengers, you've seen, right? I have to get you guys somehow to me. So I have to talk about those gods that you submit to so that you can come to that. So you've seen Hulk, right? Does Hulk exist? No. But do you have a picture? Yes. What did the mind of that creator of Hulk did is, he took the concept of a strong person with all the muscles and made it into green and gave the concept that when this person gets angry, it becomes that. And it's all powerful and nobody can defeat him. And you saw that picture and now it is in your mind. Right? So in your mind, whatever is real or it is not real, there will be a picture. And if that picture exists, does not necessarily mean that it actually exists in this world. It is your own creation or someone else's creation. With me so far? So when Imam Ali is saying that I cannot worship a God that I cannot see, he's not talking about seeing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through these eyes. But there's another way you can actually see. I'll give you a simple example. If you have a headache, somebody can tell you, can you draw your headache? Right? So headache you cannot see, but they will say, can you draw your headache? And what they will do is maybe a hammer or a chainsaw or something, right, is hitting their head. True? So they were able to see that pain, but they could not say how it is, so they used what? Symbolism. Alright? So just like that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses symbolism for us to be able to get to some sort of conclusion about Him. Kursiyu samawati wal ard. So some of the Muslims, what they did is that, actually there is a throne and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is sitting on that throne. And it is His arsh, it is His throne, and He's sitting there. What is this now? There's a picture. We have made God as a body, and we made as a tool for Him to sit down on. But this arsh or kursi is actually a symbolic picture that your mind can paint so that you can go towards that which you cannot see, which is power. Only the effects of power you can see, but power in itself you cannot see. True or not? Yes or no? Arsh of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is power. And power you cannot see, but you can see the effects of power. Effects of power you can see all around. But if you want to actually have some sort of understanding, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses the example of a chair, of a throne. But that doesn't mean that He is on the throne. Allahu nuru samawati wal ard. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the light of the heavens and the earth. That doesn't mean that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is like this. It's a symbolic way for us to come to that seeing, that conviction that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us that all of this universe, if it has light, if it has anything, is because of Him. If anyone is powerful, it's because of Him. If anyone is beautiful, it's because of Him. If anybody is knowledgeable, it's because of Him. If anyone is merciful, it's because of Him. So there is a place which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses for Himself as a symbolic, and also for us to know that we can see Him through that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that the heart of a mu'min is my house. There's nothing in this universe that can contain me but the heart of a mu'min. The Khana Kaaba there is a symbol. For the brothers there, he doesn't live in there. It's not his, it is his house, but he doesn't live in there. He doesn't need a house. But He made it so that you and I can have a visual of a picture. Right? Like we have this as a visual. The Alam Hazrat Abbas ﷺ is there as a visual. So that we look at it and the eye of our heart goes towards loyalty. कि जब आप अलम को देखें तो अलम को देख के आपके दिल में जो जज्बा पैदा हो वो वफा का. आप जब अलम को देखें तो आपके दिल में जो जज्बा पैदा हो वो खुदा की इबादत का है ना. हज़रत अब्बास अलैहिस्सलाम के जो जिस्म मुताहर के हवाले से आपके पास एक तस्वीर सी है, उस तस्वीर में बस एक मैं इजाफा करके तो वापस जाता हूँ. I'll just add something. Hazrat Abbas अलैहिस्सलाम's forehead had the mark of sijda like the knee of a camel. And you didn't have that in his picture. It was through the worship of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that he was able to show the loyalty of the Imam of the time. It was because he was submitting to the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that he had developed loyalty to the Imam of time, when the Imam of time is saying that Abbas, you're only going to go get water, you're not going to fight. When he was raised to fight, when he was developed to fight, when he was asked to fight. He was asked, meaning that Imam Ali ﷺ wanted the most bravest of the tribes to be able to have Hazrat Abbas ﷺ. Right? So the use of symbolism is actually there for that heart of yours, for it to start seeing. And that seeing is not going to be with pictures. It is going to be with emotions. As emotions you cannot see, right, with your eyes. So the heart of a mu'min is the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala lives in it. Right? Now, this is again a symbolic way of saying it though. So it's not such that, we're not talking about this heart that pumps the blood. I mentioned that to you again. I'll tell you what a mu'min is and what iman is, and maybe you're able to understand that a little bit better. Okay? If you can recite a salawat, and we can do that. I think we have about 10 more minutes. Okay. What is iman? If somebody was to ask you what is iman, and because we have short time, so I'll just tell you. And just if you can pay attention in that next 10 minutes, and inshallah there will be something that you can even implement in your life, and you will feel better too. Iman is from amn means security. Okay? So a mu'min is someone who has security. With me? A mu'min is someone who has security. Security means what? Like your security system, just symbolically. You guys have those security system in the house? Where you punch in your password and it's all security system is on? Right? So iman for a mu'min is that security system. It keeps that mu'min secure from external and internal thieves. With me? The external thieves are those things that want to take that security away from him, that contentment. And the internal thief as well wants to take that security, that contentment away. A mu'min's iman, the security system, is able to defend from all of that. Right? A mu'min, peer pressure is a thief. Wants to steal the contentment. The security field allows therefore it not to enter. Do you understand? From the external factors, when they try to come inside, the person who has a security system, what if your security system is weak? What happens then? Yeah? Yeah, exactly. It doesn't go off and the thief comes and steals it. And a mu'min also, the other quality of a mu'min is that other people are secure from that mu'min. Right? हमारे उर्दू में कहते हैं, वो जुमला कहा जाता है कि मोमिनीन के दरमियान में लड़ाई हो गई. ऐसा होता है. ये जुमला, it's actually quite ironic if you think about it. Mu'min is that person who for others are secure of his tongue and his hand. A mu'min is that person who provides security for others. You know, you have your brothers outside providing security for you, so you can be safe. That's a mu'min. So somebody who is providing security for others, how is it possible that these two fight? कि मोमिन की ज़बान से और हाथ से दूसरे महफूज रहते हैं। तो अगर ये कहा जाए कि दो मोमिनों में लड़ाई हो गई, तो इसका मतलब क्या है कि ना दोनों में से एक या दोनों मोमिन नहीं है। क्यों? अगर मोमिन होते तो उनकी ज़बान से और हाथ से दूसरा शख्स महफूज रहता। तो अगर आप कभी भी ये सुने ना कि मोमिनीन के दरमियान में लड़ाई होगी, ये जुमला जो है ना ये सही नहीं है। मोमिन कभी मोमिन से लड़ता नहीं है, क्योंकि मोमिन से दूसरा शख्स, हत्ता जानवर, खुदा की हर मखलूक मोमिन के हाथ और ज़बान से अमान में रहती है, महफूज रहती है। From the tongue and the hand of a mu'min, every creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is at peace and in contentment and is without loss. So inshallah, when you come tomorrow, we will continue a little bit forward. What I will try to do is make you understand what emotions are, what logic is, and what actions are. And with these emotions, logic and actions, when they're combined, you will get the whole of Islam. Logic is your asul-e-deen. We'll make the base for tomorrow. Logic is your asul-e-deen. Emotions or things that you do not see that are the matter of the heart is akhlaq, and actions is furu-e-deen. With me? So logic is asul-e-deen, actions are furu-e-deen, and emotions are akhlaq. And when you have all of these three things together, you get Islam. If you take one out the other, you'll have issues. Just like a person in their life, all they have is just emotions. What will happen? No logic and no actions. I love you so much. Right? You'll see that. I love you so much. I have so much emotions for you. Right? When it comes to action, the person is not doing anything. True enough. It's like us saying to Imam Ali, I love you so much. It's like us saying to Imam Hussain, I love you so much. Where are the actions? If somebody comes and says to you, this person that you love so much, who was he? Why do you love him? Who was he? Where's your logic? I don't know. That's logic is what? Asul-e-deen. Actions is furu-e-deen, and emotions is akhlaq. And when these three come together, when somebody says, I love you, in their mind they know that this person is worthy of love. And through that they perform the actions, you get the whole of Islam. And the whole of Islam is nothing but Tawheed. The whole of Islam is nothing but Tawheed. If you were to open Tawheed, you will get Islam. When you were to open Islam, you will get Asul-e-deen, Furu-e-deen, and Akhlaq. And when you open Asul-e-deen, you get Tawheed, Nabuwat, Imamat, Adl-e-Ilahi, Qiyamat, and so forth. When you open Furu-e-deen, you get Namaz, Roza, Hajj, and so forth. And when you open Akhlaq, you get all the knowledge about the diseases of the soul, of the heart, and about the health of the heart. And if you were to all take it together again, it will come up in one word called Tawheed. Because Imam Hussain ﷺ saved a shape of Tawheed that we need to understand so that we can have that and act on it. Did the enemies of Imam Hussain not say Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah? Did they not say that? They did. The ones who stood against Imam Hussain ﷺ, they were not Jews or Christians. They were those people who called themselves Muslims. They said Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. And they also said Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. They also said that. They both witnessed that there is no God but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When you talk about Tawheed, you say this is Tawheed. You say, Ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah, that I bear witness that the Holy Prophet is the Prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that's Nabuwwat. They understood the fact that they are going to be rewarded on the Day of Judgment for martyring Imam Hussain ﷺ. They had this belief that if we were to do this, that this person, Ma'azallah, who has stood against the leader of the Muslims at that time, the person who stood against them, that person's blood is allowed. And if he was to spill it, they're going to get a reward in heaven. They understood the justice of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be such that whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills happens. So He willed that Imam Hussain was to be martyred, and Ma'azallah, and that Yazid was going to sit on the throne. This was the will of Allah, and we just have to accept it. As what they do today is that 1,000, 4,000 people, 5,000 people or more, or don't know how many, they got martyred in Hajj. This was the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we don't have to do anything. They don't want to make anybody responsible for that. They just want to say this was the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So look at it. They believed in those Usul-e-Din, but what kind of belief it was, what kind of understanding of Tawheed it was, of Islam, that was that they were able to kill, brutally, mutilate, disrespect the household of the Prophet. What kind of Tawheed was that they had, that they stopped the water on the family of the Prophet? Or the animals were able to have water, but the children of the Prophet was crying, I'm thirsty, I'm thirsty. What kind of justice of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that they understood? That their women folk should be safe, while the daughters of the Prophet are going to be imprisoned. That their little children should have somebody who will put the hand of love on their head, while the children of the Prophet are being slapped. What kind of understanding of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala it was that they came to the door of Bibi Fatima Zahra Salamun Alayha and burned it. The 50 plus people stood outside of the door of the daughter of the Prophet. This Prophet that you say, Ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah, it's the body of the Prophet inside of this house. The Prophet has said, Fatima bad'atun minni. Fatima is part of my body, is mine. She's mine. What kind of understanding of the Prophet do you have? That you can come up at her door, burn it, and after burning it, you drop this door on her while she's between that door and the wall. Then on the other side is the wall, on the other side is the burning door, and the body of the Prophet is in between. And she gets injured, where she loses a child that never got born, a child by the name of Mohsin. Where is your understanding of justice of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? You can burn that house, you can burn that door. You can take the representative of the Holy Prophet outside of the house in a way that it is disrespectful. And when Bibi Fatima tried to stop them, they said that Bibi grabbed the belt of Imam Ali, they don't take him. I cannot say to you what they did. becomes so difficult to actually even say it in words. When you think about the daughter of the Prophet, the Prophet used to come to her door and say salam to her, would get up for her. They forcefully, they hit the hand of Bibi Fatima. So that she lets go of the belt of Imam Ali. Where is the justice of Allah in this? How do you understand it? That this is your God who will give you reward for doing this. Allah, the enemies of Ahlul Bayt, give them the lowest place of hell for the atrocities that they committed. Give the lowest place of hell to that person who hit Bibi Sakina's face. Give the lowest levels of hell for the one who took the hijab of Bibi Zainab. Give him the most amount of wrath that you have. And give us the opportunity to have the qualities of the friends of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. Make us hur, O Allah. Give us the opportunity in this month, on any day, for us to become hur, for us to become free men from our own lowly desires and our own enemy which is inside of our hearts. Allah, give us the opportunity that we become the friends of Ahlul Bayt, so we become the friends of Imam of the time. Allah, grant him an appearance in which he can take the revenge of the blood of Imam Hussain. Allah, free your own house by the means of our Imam. Give us the opportunity to use the tools that you've given to us to acquire a deep understanding of you, and make us from those individuals who fall in love with you and nothing else. Allow our sisters to be able to have that dress of modesty. Allow our brothers to be able to have the gaze of modesty. Allow our elders to be able to have the patience to deal with the errors of the young. Allow the young the opportunity to do the effort that they can. Give us the wisdom and the courage to stand against the enemies and to submit to your will. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Al-Asr. Inna al-insana lafi khusr. Illa alladhina amanu wa amilu s-salihat wa tawasaw bil-haqq wa tawasaw bis-sabr.